And I'm Jane.
And we're SpielMill.
And this is a quick video, I guess, about
Ticket to Ride.
And fan expansions to Ticket to Ride in particular. We went through the process of printing up a couple boards for fan expansions to Ticket to Ride. Totally different sources, but we'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
And printing up the cards and everything. We had a lot of fun with this, and it was a bit pricey, but we ended up with a couple new versions to Ticket to Ride play.
Yeah, so if you go onto BGG and you search fan expansion for Ticket to Ride, you will find what looks to be about close to 200, so close to 2 full pages of fan expansions for Ticket to Ride. And they run the gamut. I saw Antarctic, there's Texas, there's New Zealand, there's Cuba. I saw Hungary.
Israel.
yeah, exactly. Israel, Hungary, Canary Islands, Island of Man, right? There's a ton of them. There's also some that may be inspired, some of the expansions. So I saw Japan and a Wild Wild West fan expansion. So people, of course, love their tickets to ride, and everybody wants a ticket to ride of their own home. We are lucky because we have a Pennsylvania version that really exists, but there's plenty on here that, you can't get.
But like, for example, I'm Irish descent, and so I'd really like to make a map of Ireland at some point. But if there's not an Ireland one in the fan expansions, you have a second option, which is a website. What is it called? It's the Chain Board Generator, and it's made by a fan of Ticket to Ride. And one of the boards that we made it for a friend, was using this tool.
Right.
And it was really cool because it's a tool that allows you to make a train-based map, not using real train lines exactly, for anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So I could use that to make an Ireland map, for example, if there isn't one on Board Game Geek.
And so what kicked this all off for us is we were looking at this one day and there's a Christmas Ticket to Ride. Hello. It isn't in any real geographic area. It's just a made-up geographic area. North Pole.
That's what I mean. It's the North Pole. And there's,
Does it actually match the geography of the North Pole?
Of course.
Right, because Santa's Workshop is there, right?
Santa's Workshop's there.
The Narwhal is there.
The Narwhal's there.
So it
Toyland
draws on...
is there.
Island of Misfit Toys.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it draws on some of the classic children's cartoons that we all watch. It draws on the movie Elf. It draws on... trademark.
All real.
It draws on a bunch of those things and it puts them on a map with, art that is probably violating some trademarks, but since nobody watches this channel, nobody's going to know. And we got really excited about this. So we decided to print it, and a friend of ours had just come back from Puerto Rico and wanted a Puerto Rico map. So
we used the train generator to make a Puerto Rico map, which was very interesting because Puerto Rico's not a very tall country. It's very wide, comparatively. So the map's like wide and short.
yeah. It was tight for a 4-person game.
Yeah.
But before we get into how they played, do you want to talk a little bit about making them?
Yeah, I mean, so we used a couple different sources. We used one source to print the cards, and from for the different games, they usually come with the game. You usually have to provide your own train cards, which you can do as long as you have a base game of Ticket to Ride. And then, but you need ticket cards for the unique map, so they usually provide a set of ticket cards. So those we had printed. We used Printer Studio. They did a nice job. Ours came out blurry, but for the Christmas one, I think it was more of a resolution issue on the cards itself.
Yeah, I think so too.
So with the maps, we went to Board Game Maker and actually paid them to make a couple different boards, and they came out nicely.
Yeah, we'll put some pictures, of course, in this, but they were beautiful. I mean, it's a board game. It's like a quality board game. So really playing it felt like playing a actual, copy of Ticket to Ride.
And it's so nice that you can create a Ticket to Ride for anywhere in the world using either the board game made ones or the generator.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And it gives you so much flexibility. If you can't afford to print them on boards, you could print them on poster paper or something and play them that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's a couple of different ways that you could go about getting them that might be more affordable if you're not totally insane like we are. But we had to have it on a real game board. So, and how did they play? Well, I thought that Puerto Rico, and this actually is the caveat to bespoke Ticket to Rides, is that Puerto Rico, because of the way it's shaped, right, it's not optimized for like a Ticket to Ride game. So there was a lot of head-to-head competition with 4 of us playing the board, and
tight.
some of us got
Very tight.
cut off from routes. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't say it was broken, but
no, but it's more optimal probably for 2 or 3 players.
Definitely more for
kind of think about Nordic countries as a 2 to 3 player map.
Yeah,
and I think Puerto Rico falls in the same thing. You also, the map suggests playing, I think, with 25 trains. I would probably play with 35, but I still would limit it to 3 players.
Yeah.
Usually. But we'll play it again at 4 because we're whatever.
Yeah. And I thought the Christmas one played great. The routes were...
Yeah, there were a lot of choices for routes.
Yeah, there were a lot of choices for routes. There were some really long ones and some sort of like quick, easy routes to play. There wasn't as much cutting people off in the Christmas Village, but there were a few spots that were sort of like Las Vegas is in the U.S. Ticket to Ride, that you could just get really totally screwed and not be able to get there or get out of there if you're there. So there were a few places like that, which isn't bad. I mean, I think that's kind of good for competition. But all in all, it was great, and it was super thematic. And I know we played it in May, but I can't wait to play this at Christmas. I'm so excited that we now have a Christmas Ticket to Ride game.
Another one. Nordic countries to us is kind of Christmassy.
But I strongly suggest go on and check it out. I'm just looking. There's a Winnie the Pooh fan expansion. I kind of now want to take a look at that. There's Sri Lanka. Like, I would, these are so fascinating. We love geography, and so I am super stoked to dig into some of these. But
me too.
You know, you might have somewhere in the world that you really love that you want a Ticket to Ride game for. Check them out.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, any thoughts, ask us in the comments below, because I'm happy to help anyone, because I've been through the process of getting the cards printed and getting the boards printed. So
yeah, definitely. If you go to make your own and you want some extra advice or want to hear how we did it, let Jane know.
Yep. All
right. Remember,
every day that you game
is a holiday.
Every game that you day. All right, everyone. Bye.